I just like having this little part here, like between my legs.
Yeah. The same thing that was protruding from your onesie?
I don't know what you're talking about. We'll address that tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to have to address it tomorrow because a lot of people were talking about it.
Battle of the Bulge.
You were literally the talk of the office the next day at the station. Oh, God. Hey now, ladies and gentlemen. Hey now. Welcome to the show, everybody. Yeah. There's John Bird.
Hey.
There's Tony Gump. Everybody, what's up? I will say that, do you notice anything different? I'm using a black pen.
Whoa, no.
It's a new day, and this is, I bought these in particular because first of all, blue doesn't match anything. All right, this matches. It matches my Wild Hair Jerky shirt, my logo here.
What have you done?
Look, this may be the best thing that ever happened to us.
Let me tell you something. So, okay, well, you need to go ahead and just throw away your orange and white checkered overalls.
What does that have to do with what kind of pen I'm using?
Do you ever?
And I'm not even using the pen. I'm just holding it.
Yeah, Tony, talk some sense into him.
Did the blue pen run out of ink or what?
No, I wanted to switch it up. I mean, it's like wearing a different hat.
I think it depends on the mindset. If you're going to switch up the color, you got to be mindful that it's going to work.
Yes.
But if you go the opposite way and say, "Oh, that's going to be bad," then it's going to turn out bad.
Well, I'm in a very dark mood.
Okay.
That's why I've got a black pen.
All right, maybe you could have just sent a text so we would be. I was all prepared for blue pen and all, and now I got to get my shit together.
I could have just not said anything, and you would have never noticed.
I would never notice.
I'll support you. I think it's a good move.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm with you.
And well, listen, if bad things start happening, I'll get rid of the black pen. You know.
What if you went with like a red or a green pen?
I don't like red. I could maybe do green.
What about an orange pen?
I do an orange pen.
Or what about those pens that have the little slider things and the different colors come out at the bottom?
Well, if I was writing with it.
Oh, you're not. That's right.
I don't have a laptop. I don't have a notebook. I don't have nothing. And by the way, we'll talk more about this tomorrow on the next podcast, our Bubba podcast. But Bubba was on Tim Pool IRL. What's it called? Timcast IRL?
I think, Timcast.
And he does a live show at like 7 o'clock every night. And I got to say, I don't think I like that show. And I say that with all due respect, and this show is probably not Tim's cup of tea. Tim, first of all, Tim talks really fast, and it's like Ben Shapiro vibe, and it's hard for me, and this may be, I may be insulting myself here. It's almost like I can't keep up with it, and I felt like they had too many smart people in the studio.
You got to be careful. You got to mix in some stupid and average people to balance it out.
Why do you think we're successful?
Damn it, I knew it. I walked right into it.
Now, I'm
I
just
knew
curious,
it was going to happen.
when they got together, you got like the Bubba side where there's lots of cussing and things like that, and then the Timcast people don't really cuss. So was there any like
Bubba
slip-ups?
Bubba was kind of, you could tell he was out of his element at first, and he was trying to, because I would think, like, my understanding not watching the show was that Bubba was going to come on and he was going to be kind of quasi-interviewed, but it was nothing like that. And Tim was meeting Bubba for the first time. They linked up through Alex Stein, and he's like, "Hey, we got Bubba the Love Sponge here. Let's get to the news." And they start going through all this news, and Bubba's just, kind of interjecting when he can.
Huh.
I thought it was strange.
That hardcore stuff, that's tough.
Anyway, we'll get into that tomorrow in more detail because it was cool because that's a whole lot of eyeballs on you when it comes to.
I can't wait for our turn.
There were some people in the super chat that were like taking shots at Bubba too, which I'll talk about. The radio audience today. I felt like I was just getting hammered all day by the audience. Like they were just complaining about stuff. Like one guy, which this guy in particular texts the show every day and complains about how awful the show is and how it used to be informative, and now he's got to wait until Leland, but yet he's still listening every day. And then another thing people were complaining about was the mic distortion, which I didn't ask, but is it from the internet side? And I talk loud on the radio, but I have to in order to get in a groove. What is it? What's the cause of that?
I know.
What is it?
Nobody else knows.
Well, tell us so we can fix it.
Give me $50.
Okay.
No. It's you have to understand the equipment you're working with, and in Audacity, it's a balancing act. Okay. Because when it comes through the airwaves, there's a lot of equipment attached to that signal that keeps your voice at a certain level. Okay. But we're going directly out of the board into our Audacity sound recorder on the computer.
Right.
And that same signal is going to the
online stream.
To the online stream. Well, there's nobody looking. What should happen, there should be a compressor on that, because there's nothing to control your highs and lows. Folks, what a compressor does is, let's say I'm talking like this, and then I talk like this. Well, instead of your ears hurting, the compressor, it takes the low sounds,
brings them up.
And brings them up. Takes the high sounds, and it has what's called a ceiling. It won't let it go any further. When you don't have that on there, there's no regulation.
Well, how do we get one on there? I mean,
no, I'm not.
Do we have to buy something?
You have to go through somebody.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Well, I don't mind going through that guy if it'll fix the issue. I mean, but I'm asking, what is the physical thing that has to be done? Well, do you go to the compressor store and buy a compressor and attach it to the computer? Like, how does that work?
Yes. Well, what he should be able to do, if we have a computer with a newer operating system than Windows 95, you want to make sure what you do is you can actually purchase an app that would be a compressor that it could run through before going out.
Interesting.
Or you could get a post, which means just coming out and running in. But that would control the lows and the highs and lows and the highs. Because if you're listening and you're driving, that's very, very distracting, because you might end up turning it up and down.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't hear that. But
well, some listeners were blaming Carrie, then other listeners were blaming me, telling me to back off the mic some, but it's not going to sound any. I mean, if I back off the mic, like this is doing a radio show like this is going to sound stupid.
Yeah, these types of mics are designed. These Sures are designed to be up in there.
And is that what we have at the station?
Well, ours isn't quite as good,
but it's the same brand. It's just
same brand,
older.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're good mics, but more needs to be done to control that, so you don't just. Well, I'm not gonna get in trouble. I don't work there anymore. You know what? Damn it! You don't just take a raw signal and send it out.
They should hire you back.
You know,
they really should.
I could be his assistant.
I mean, especially if they're not going to put me back under contract, they might as well at least bring you back. You know,
I tell you, man.
So
I'll tell you.
I want to give a shout out to, and I don't know if this is his actual name. I forgot to ask him, but we'll just assume it's his real name.
Okay.
Tomfoolery.
Hey, Tom.
He is a listener of the show and the podcast, and he has gotten into the 3D printing business, and he brought this to me at the station. Look at this. It's a little 3D printed hey now, or it can be a hey now, or a now hey.
Now hey. Oh, my gosh.
So
I'm going to play with that. That's cool.
And here's his Facebook page, as he's, I don't know where he's at in the process of getting
He's got hey now as his main picture.
Look at that.
Awesome.
Yeah, he looks like he's made a bunch of stuff.
Oh, my gosh. Whoa. He does figurines. I need to talk to him.
Is this the process of the hey? Oh, no, that's something else. Oh, it's an Xbox controller holder deal. Oh, I need one of those.
Wow.
Look at all that stuff. Look at a little marijuana leaf. How cool. Hey, oh, he put the marijuana leaf in with the hay now. Nice. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So there's the Facebook page. What's it called? Metters 3D. Y'all go follow him on Facebook and tell him, hey now.
He can make anything, probably.
I think we should put this back behind you somewhere. Do we want to go ahead and try that?
Let's give it a shot.
Say, put it in between our PlayStation controllers there. Okay. Which one do you think, Tony? Move the red one over?
I guess the red one, yeah.
Or move the red and the black one over, and then put them put it right there in the middle and see what happens. And then scooch them back close together. It's so bright. I think he said it glows in the dark, too. Now sit down and let's see what it looks like.
I think it looks good.
Yeah, looks good. Check that out. Hey now!
Oh, my
hey
gosh.
now.
It jumps out. It goes whoosh.
Really does. Like if we had a green screen behind you, you wouldn't be able to see it.
That's right.
So, go find him on Facebook. Give him a like. And what else is new with you guys? We're a little off schedule this week because of different things, but anything new going on?
I'll tell you, the wife and I are fighting the stupid hemp and vape thing in Alabama, and it totally sucks balls, and I hate it.
God, it's the worst, man.
This every fucking year they do this.
Yep.
I'm sorry,
Yep.
You bring it, brother.
Well, and I mean,
I cussed. There you go.
Our audience knows that because they've been through the fight with us, and they have stepped up tremendously, contacting their senators.
We are the greatest folks.
And everything else. I mean, last time we went through this, we had people from Montgomery saying, hey, would chill out a little bit because our mailboxes are full, okay? So our audience, it's not just that they're doing what we're telling them to do. They care about this issue because it's more than just the product in itself. You're talking about families, you're talking about small businesses, you're talking about tax revenue. Like you're railroading a lot of different stuff by making this one decision because somebody's got their panties in a wad.
And I got to say, it upsets me, and that's why I get so mad about it. It's every year, and, quite frankly, I'm personally getting tired of it. I want a solution. I don't want kids doing any of this stuff. Last year, we had Smitherman, who saved our ass at the end. Mm-hmm. It seems like this year they're more hardcore going after it and always using the kids, as bait for the public. And, we're going to see how this goes down this year, but it's a thing. There's a lot of people that even disposable nicotine's on the ballot too. HB 8 is a thing, and then SB 132 in the Senate, which is a certain senator from near Huntsville, District 1, can't say his name. And we've been told not to talk bad about any of these people, and it's so hard not to.
Yeah.
So we got to play niceies as we negotiate. And they say they want to keep all the jobs around, but last year they tried to yank us out at the last second. And, they pretended this and that. And at the last second, we don't want to work with you now,
Yeah, we're only going to be able to sit on our hands for so long because this is not our first rodeo with this.
Yeah, so help me if I go crazy here, but it's very stressful, especially when you got a bunch of employees. And anyway, here we are again, but day by day, we'll make it.
Yeah, we'll come up with a game plan. This audience cares deeply about this issue because obviously they feel like they know you, Tony Gulp, and it affects you more than anybody else. But in the larger picture, I mean, you think of all the people that patron that store. I mean, how backwards is it to say let's pass a bill in the state of Alabama to get rid of the one thing that keeps people off the cigarettes?
Exactly.
To keep to get people away from big tobacco, like how it's insanity.
And to be honest with you, on the hemp side of things, if they get done what they're proposing right now in these secret meetings they're having, it's going to create this black market, and your local drug dealer selling pot is going to become a big thing again. Mm-hmm. And it causes a lot of problems because then if a cop pulls over one of those people and they smell something, there's nothing good that's going to come out of this thing, and kids are going to get a hold of whatever they want to regardless.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got a lot of people that are weed heads that have been able to not have to deal with that issue in the dark and constantly break the law because they've been able to use something like Delta 8.
Yeah.
And you're basically creating crime is what you're doing. And that's not some sort of goofy backwards Republican talking point because it's the Republicans that are causing this.
Yeah. Well, it's history. I mean, you look back at Prohibition, you see what happened.
Yep.
I mean, that's just human. That is human nature.
I mean, if you're an illegal drug dealer, you would want this stuff to get passed, and you would want a black market because you could make hand over fist tons of money.
Mm-hmm.
And it ties. It makes it tougher for law enforcement.
Yeah.
You know,
this whole state's backwards. We still don't even have a lottery.
I know.
Anyway, sorry to take everybody off context here, but
well, you've got other states that have it legalized recreationally, and all that's going to happen is their products are going to make its way over here, just like lottery tickets.
Yes.
In Georgia, make it into the hands of people of Alabama.
Yeah, not to mention it'll be less safe if people are buying it from who knows what in a parking lot.
Yeah, they don't know what they're getting.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same thing for, kids, which, that's a story as old as time. Kids get their hands on drugs, and they're just taking a risk instead of,
Guys,
whatever.
I've got this picture that just came into my head. I see near the end of Braveheart where everyone is lined up. Tony, I'm going to let you be William Wallace. We're all lined up with our kilts. We've got our farm implements and our swords, and we're getting ready to go against the evil King William.
And we'll shout out, "Hey now" as we go.
Oh my gosh!
And I assume King William is an Alabama state senator too, right?
No, this was just pretend.
Okay.
God,
I just want to say, if they end up winning this thing, if certain people we know that screwed us over, I wouldn't mind it if their name ever got brought up on the radio, and like every time you hear their name, you like flush a toilet sound or something.
Oh, if this ends up railroading your business and people's opportunity to get the products they want, that person that led the charge, and maybe everybody else involved, will be a staple on this show. In the radio show, we will purchase a cardboard cutout of whoever and make it a dartboard and have it behind me in this studio every single day.
Oh yeah, and since we have the inside baseball with the lobbyists and everything, we'll know exactly who to target if that happens.
Yeah, now that's not a threat. That's just saying
it's just playing around.
It's just saying that. We really need the people that are involved in this to really think about what they're doing.
Tony, say, I know you said it a million times, but say it again. Hey, Tony, what's your purpose for having this vape store?
To help adults get off cigarettes so that way they don't end up getting cancer and dying.
Thank you.
Republicans in Montgomery are pro-cancer, apparently.
Nicotine actually helps treat certain cancers. It doesn't cause cancer.
And ironically, that phraseology is probably closer to true than you realize. It's not really parody, thanks to Big Pharma. Okay, all right, let's
big smiles.
I knew we weren't going to be able to get away without bringing that up. Because,
yeah, sorry about that. And I made Bird's chair go sideways.
Is it? Oh my God! What the hell has happened?
Way sideways.
I just like having this little part here. Like
are you
legs.
You the same thing that was protruding from your onesie?
I don't know what you're talking about. We'll address that tomorrow.
Yeah, we're gonna have to address it tomorrow because a lot of people were talking about it.
Battle of the Bulge.
You were literally the talk of the office the next day at the station.
Oh God,
Brian that does traffic. Is that right? He came to me and he. He just, I just.
Oh God,
I
Brian,
sent him the video.
No, you did. Why?
He goes, I never thought I would be sitting here thinking about what's between Bird's legs.
You definitely saw a rainbow.
But the good news is everybody down in Tampa, and I'm not suggesting that was not real, but if it's not, the good news is everybody in Tampa thinks that's real. They say 62s have a big one.
You know,
listen. We're
I'm a little embarrassed to talk about it. Really,
we're using all our ammunition for tomorrow's podcast.
Okay,
it's all right. I do have reenactment. I like to bring these to the show.
I love reenactments
of the mainstream media and Rachel Maddow in particular talking about the what was the guy's name? DJ Daniel, the black kid with brain cancer that Donald Trump honored at the joint address.
So sweet.
And she's trying to make sense of it, and actually brings John Fetterman on her show.
I'm Rachel Maddow, and this is the Rachel Maddow Show. Recently, President Trump decided to make a black kid with cancer an honorary Secret Service agent. Personally, I think it's disgusting. If Trump really wanted to honor someone, he should have honored a black kid with cancer who's also gay and stands by Ukraine. Joining me to defend this behavior is John Fetterman. Go ahead, John.
Well, I don't see what the issue is, Rachel. I think our party's behavior was pretty deplorable that night.
So right-wing propaganda, that's all you have to say to defend this? You probably think that black kid with cancer is brave, is that it?
Well, yes, obviously.
That kid's not brave, John. Did he go through gender reassignment surgery? Is he Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? Is he a fat chick? Is he a fatty? I have enormous jokes because I'm a fat chick? Those people are brave, John. Speaking of brave, I'd like to bring out my next guest, Al Green. Al, I understand you're trying to impeach the president again.
That's right, Rachel. I will be impeaching the president again on the basis of dastardly deeds proposed and dastardly deeds done.
Wow. And what kind of dastardly deeds have been done?
Well, I was removed from Trump's speech because I'm a black man. And to add insult to injury, they honored a black child who has something called brain cancer. It's absolutely dastardly to imagine you have a disease.
Al, the cancer isn't imaginary. It's in his brain.
That is what I am saying. This child who has brain cancer is stealing Medicaid benefits from people whose diseases are not all in their mind. That is why we need to impeach the president again.
God. I love these.
That's good. I don't even know who it is that makes those, but those are so good. So good. So good.
I love it.
Yeah. It's good to have fun. I mean, I watch the Democrats on a daily basis, obviously, and I have not seen a smile. I have not seen laughter. I have not seen anything, any sign of joy emit from the bodies of these people. Mm-mm. Like nobody's even like, not even, you know how like a baby will crap their pants and then smile? You can't even get one of those out of a Democrat right now.
I wonder if Democrat babies are like that, if they're all like...
Probably.
That'd be awful.
You're doing the Bubbles face again.
Oh.
Be careful with that.
Is that better?
Yes. No, yeah, it is much better without the glasses.
Okay, all right.
Adam Kinzinger was on Twitter today, or X, or Blue Sky, or whatever gay social media site he uses, and he was crying again.
Oh,
he's not technically crying, but he's Adam Kinzinger. It did tear up a little bit, and the reason he's upset is because Gavin Newsom is doing a podcast. And he's bringing on right-wing people. He brought on Charlie Kirk, but now, have you seen that?
No. Oh, yeah. Man. I'm watching Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It was good. It was good. But now his next guest is Steve Bannon. He's bringing on Steve Bannon, who is probably more pro-Trump than anybody else. I mean, he's a literal, like, bomb thrower, Steve Bannon is, and he's been accosted from society because they say he's crazy conspiracy theorist or whatever. Here is Adam Kinzinger's reaction to finding out Steve Bannon's going to be on with Gavin Newsom.
I woke up this morning fully expecting the outrage of the day to be something that like Trump did, or the fact that Jared Golden, a Democrat, voted for the continuing resolution last night, which is also insane. And then I see this. I see that Gavin Newsom has decided to invite Steve Bannon on his podcast, and they're going to have just a wonderful conversation. Last week, he had Charlie Kirk on his podcast. That I didn't get extremely outraged about, even though Kirk is one of the bad guys. Bannon is the author of this chaos we're seeing right now. Bannon is the one that says you need to flood the zone with shit. Bannon is the one that has basically authored where we are and what Donald Trump wants. And because Gavin Newsom wants to run for president and thinks he's going to be this healer, he brings on this nationalist. Many of us on the right sacrificed our careers taking these people on, and Newsom's trying to make a career with them. This is insane. So
Suffering, succotash. He's having Steve Bannon on. What's up with that? He's got a strong lisp, by the way.
Well, don't you like the way he was walking around his house? Look at my house. Look at Steve Bannon. Look at my house.
And so here's his argument, and he's correct in this assessment. Mm-hmm. So Gavin Newsom is an extreme leftist. He has run the beautiful state of California into the ground, allowed L.A. to burn to the ground, and now is trying to, and it's kind of smart. I'll be honest. It's a smart move. He's trying to now paint himself as a moderate in order to effectively run for president in 28. He's getting started early, and he's saying, look at me. I'm not like the rest of the party wackos, which he is. He's the epitome of those people. I'm totally normal and like you. I've even got a podcast, and I'm talking because he knows he's bringing these people from the right on. He knows that if he talks to them and just acts civilized and even admits some of the things within his party that are not appealing to most Americans, even though he still believes in those, that people will start to warm up to him.
I think the only reason his podcast will be successful is because conservatives will want to go on there and see, like, for instance, Steve Bannon or Charlie Kirk, to see that.
And it makes great clips, too, that circulate on social media. Here's a clip right here. I think he's talking to Charlie Kirk here, but he's admitting, that there are a lot of things wrong with the Democrat Party.
I think you talked about it the other day. A lot of folks were talking about that Carville article where he talked about
roll over and play dead.
Roll over, but in essence, he said that. I think it was a strategic retreat, right? That we need to come back. Trump's starting to implode. His numbers are getting soft. This was even before the tariff issues, et cetera. And then come back and strike when hot. And I immediately, no BS, thought about you, who's just 24/7 flooding the zone, owning this space, every day getting a convert, every day picking up 1, 2, 10,000 folks, continuing the momentum, coming out of this damn election. And then I'm thinking about, we're going to stand back and watch you run circles around us for 6 months, the next 2 or 3 years, waiting for the moment to finally strike. Struck me as not necessarily the best advice, and it's not a knock on Carville, who I have deep respect for. What's your thoughts?
That's okay. So I don't have to. He's right about one thing in the last 40 years. It's economy stupid, and boy, he spent down that one line pretty amazingly. Yeah, I hope you guys retreat.
You kind of like the
more
advice.
For us.
You like the advice.
There's no opposition. There's no activist spark. You guys are posting these cringe videos on social media.
What are the videos? What are the ones that are most cringy?
This like harmonious thing of like 22 senators all saying the same thing.
You didn't like that, yeah.
I didn't like it. Go ahead. Go do more of that.
What do you do?
Please.
What do you do? Seriously, Charlie Kirk, give us some advice.
Get better ideas, Governor.
That's a good one. Get better ideas. And so, but you see, he's being civilized in this conversation. And the far left that has hijacked the party does not like that. They call it normalizing these people. You don't want to normalize Trump. You don't want to normalize Charlie Kirk or Steve Bannon. And so they get pissed off. The question is going to be, like, here's some headlines just from articles talking about Newsom's new podcast. Gavin Newsom's podcast shows he's out of step with the state. The next one. Find something you love as much as Gavin Newsom loves having anti-trans pundits on his podcast. Don't listen to greasy Gavin Newsom. Listen to trans athletes. Like, because what he did was he kind of agreed with his guest in the sense of men playing in girls' sports is unfair. Because you can't really get around that issue. If you're going to paint yourself as a common sense person, like, you can't make that argument. You've got to say, yeah, you're right. Men are stronger than women. So it pissed a bunch of people off. But the question is going to be, how big of a stranglehold does the far left have on the Democrat Party? Because we know they've got the stranglehold. They've had it for a while now. How long do they have that before somebody pries their hands off the neck of the DNC?
I think what's going to happen is, as Trump continues to do what he says he's going to do, I believe that we got a good chunk of folks from the left that voted for Trump. Okay? So, really, for them to be back in power, they got to grab these folks and they got to bring them back over. And to me, that fringe, it's so stupid. And I believe these people that are over here, they're starting to see, okay, this is the way it should be. They're not going to go back.
Well, what you've got to do is, just like Gavin Newsom on the trans athlete issue, you've got to take the wins that Donald Trump has that benefit everybody, no matter your political ideology, just like the trans athlete issue. Like, every girl in women's sports is not a Republican or a Democrat. It's both sides of the aisle.
Right.
Those issues, you have to come out and you have to commend Donald Trump. But the party, the current state of the party is oppose everything Trump does, even if it's good. Just like the fraud stuff, the Doge stuff. Like, it's good that we're saving billions and billions of dollars, but Democrats have this game plan where it's oppose Trump on everything he does. And they have these blinders on where they don't realize, oh, wait, that thing he's doing is a good thing, but they can't see it because Orange Man Bad is right here. And it's just oppose everything. So they've got to get rid of that in order to make any sort of progress. But again, how deep is the roots of the
that's key
of the far left? So
the roots are deep enough not to stand for a kid with cancer. I'll tell you that.
They had them really planted in their seats with those roots.
I mean, who thought of that? I mean, honestly, that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen them do.
It had to be. Of course, it was discussed beforehand.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Had their little signs, their little paddles.
I mean, it's not like they didn't know the kid wasn't coming, or the victims of their child being unalived and stuff. It's just so disgusting.
And it wasn't like they weren't willing to stand up for anything, because when he mentioned all the money we've wasted on Ukraine, they stood up and clapped.
Yeah.
And then he called out Elizabeth Warren. He called her Pocahontas.
Oh, loved it. He's always got one or two in there.
That was good, man. There's just too many crazies. I heard Maxine Waters at I guess it's a House Finance Committee hearing, and she's got a new topic, because these people are so in touch. Remember all the videos that they were doing? These people are so in touch.
Cowboys, the Mexican people.
They're so in touch with the people that Maxine Waters is at a committee hearing talking about the dangers of getting ripped off with meme coins. It's supposed to be meme coins. It's cryptocurrency, but she thinks it's called meme coins.
Reports show that a far larger number of investors lost more than $2 billion after the meme coin crash. Meanwhile, a Republican-led SEC has conveniently stated that meme coins are not subject to their regulatory oversight. And so, with that, I just want to say to this committee and to everybody else.
Meme coins.
Meme coins is fun to say. Tony, have you invested in meme coins?
I haven't invested in any meme coins, no.
That's a dangerous game
to
play.
But it sounds enticing the way she puts it.
It is. Wasn't there a social media website called that one time, like a Chinese one? Or was it what was it, Mimi? MeWe. It was called MeWe. Y'all remember that?
Yes.
It was when the censorship stuff was going on and people were trying to find a different outlet to do social media. Because there were so many. There was MeWe. There was Parler. Do you remember Parler?
Yeah.
Like, is that still a thing? Is that still around? Parler?
I think it's still around, but nobody goes there.
Yeah, it's kind of self-defeating if you go to a social media app that nobody else is on, because you're posting to nobody. Yeah. And another Senate hearing with a senator from Delaware named Sarah McBride, who has a McPenis, was being introduced by the chairman of this committee. And he, instead of saying, Miss McBride, it's your turn, he calls him Mr. McBride.
Oh, here we go.
And another angry leftist on the panel got sideways with the chairman.
I now recognize the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, it's a We have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply...
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman? Would you repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America? Please.
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order.
Slap him. Slap him.
Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this
You
hearing.
will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
Yes.
There he goes. Oh, that's funny. He's like, Mr. McBride.
No, the guy didn't announce it wrong. I mean, that's the standards and the rules now.
It is. I mean,
if you got a wee willy winker, you got to be called Mister.
Now, did you notice how she said, "Thank you, Madam Chairman"? Was that?
Yeah, that's what I think she was trying to take a shot back at him, which tells you she expected that to happen, and so she was prepared to maybe get in a tiff. But that
she got him good. Woo, boy!
That other guy intervened and stopped her from getting her good shots in. So.
I'd be willing to bet that guy had some stage 3, 4 TDS going on.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to where the Democrat Party used to be to where it is now, because we all used to know Democrat. It's hard to find Democrats now. Mm-hmm. We have friends we grew up with, parents and everything else were Democrats because Democrats were the party of the working people, and really was able to keep that up all the way up to Obama. I mean, if you go back and look at some old clips of Nancy Pelosi, Bernie Sanders, and Chuck Schumer, and listen to them talking about fraud, waste, and abuse, you would think they are cutting an ad for Doge.
We cannot keep our promises on Medicare. We simply must make the cuts in waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare so that the benefits and the premiums are untouched. We owe it to our seniors. We owe it to our country.
There is an enormous amount of waste and fraud and abuse in this government. When there is waste and fraud, you have an administration who should also be on top of that situation.
If we're going to eliminate the waste, fraud, and abuse in Medicare, it does mean we're going to cut some of that out. And when I hear my friend Dave Camp say you cannot cut money out of Medicare, you can't just get up there and say we don't want to cut anything out of Medicare. We want to cut the bad stuff and keep the good stuff.
Keep the good stuff. I mean, that's the way they used to talk. But one day, a switch was flipped.
Mm-hmm.
And they all just decided to go far left. Here's some examples. Joni Ernst, who's a Republican, put out a report got to do with waste, some of the stuff that they found. In this case, she found a $3 billion program to get the U.S. Postal Service EV vehicles, and the USPS got 93 vehicles out of the 50,000 they were supposed to get. 93 out of 50,000, which is about what, Tony? A 0.2%?
Yeah.
Of the vehicles they were supposed to get.
Well, 500 would be 1%, so yeah.
And I mean, no offense, but those are some ugly ass vehicles.
They do look kind of goofy. It looks like something that'd be off a kid's cartoon.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But maybe the male people like it. We got a bunch of male ladies that are fans of the show, so it's just I don't know. And then this one here. Days before Biden leaves office, or in the final months of Joe Biden being in office, they sent $28 million, approved $28 million to a vaccine company for vaccine research. $28 million. You know where that $28 million was sent? You know what their official location was?
Barbados.
It was a P.O. box.
Holy shit.
They had a
box.
P.O. box, and I assume the government sent a $28 million check to their P.O. box. The best part of it is when you start looking into the details of it to figure out who exactly it is. It says a vaccine company barely in existence. It just formed, registered to a Maryland post office box, and helmed by former Biden administration officials. How about that? It's former Biden administration officials that opened this right before Joe Biden goes out of office. Was quietly handed $28 million in federal funding from the National Institution of Health's Advanced Research Project Agency for Health. In a letter addressed to the newly appointed HHS Secretary RFK, Jody Ertz raised serious concerns about the potential corruption, calling the massive federal payout fishy. A vaccine company registered, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you go down. The company in question is called the Vaccine Company Incorporated. Like they couldn't even.
I can't take it.
They couldn't even come up with a good name. They're like, oh, we need to pretend to have a vaccine company. What do you want to call it? Let's call it Vaccine Company.
It's like daring them. You know? It's like, okay, can we get away with it? Let's put this stupid name.
It says, despite having no prior federal research contracts, it was inexplicably awarded $28 million in the fall of 24 for vaccine research on flaviviruses such as Zika and Dengue.
Well, did you say Zika?
Zika.
Okay, that's money well spent. I had a case of Zika when I went to Europe, and it took forever to get rid of it.
The company's listed address is a mere P.O. box at a post office in Bethesda, Maryland. Simple records search revealed that no physical office space, lab, or manufacturing facility exists for this location. For Vaccine Company. Jeez. $28 million.
It doesn't end. It doesn't end. It never stops.
Boy, if we could get a grant for $28 million, we wouldn't have to worry about this freaking vape fight, you know?
Ironically enough, I'll say this. We found out this morning that there was a group of people buying vape shops a few years ago, all from a different country, I'll say. And they came around, even offered us something, and we found out today that they got a lot of their startup money from USAID themselves.
Of course they did.
This is true.
That's so crazy.
I didn't get shit from USAID, okay?
Yeah. So that's the federal government for you, probably importing foreigners and then giving them probably hundreds of thousands of dollars to start a business. Why would the federal government do that? I hate to be a conspiracy theorist here, but the Democrats, at one time had this thing they came up with, and they called it replacement theory. Okay? And now, if you bring up replacement theory now, they'll call you racist. But it's like, wait, that's not my thing. That's your thing. You're the one that came up with that. I can actually find you the clip of them saying it. And it is the idea of replacing natural U.S. citizens. This is not a black and a white thing. This is U.S. citizens, people born here, no matter what color they are, replacing them with people from outside the country. Now, why would they want to do that? Well, people that are fresh from outside the country don't understand the importance of the Constitution or how our government's supposed to operate or the boundaries and the separation of powers or the separation between the people and the government. And the government can just run wild if they've got a bunch of people in here that don't understand what America's about.
They don't have a clue.
And so that's, maybe that was a small portion of that bigger picture as to why they were doing that and funding, foreigners opening businesses in the U.S. I don't know.
Well, it's just equivalent as like helping people get here, and you pay for their hotel rooms, and they were buying cars, they were doing all these things. Well, these people just got like seed money and started the businesses, like you said. They went around to shops and offered them low amounts of money to get out, and these people hardly spoke any English, and somehow they came up with all this money.
I wish Elon Musk would get on top of that one too. Like, just bring it to the forefront and tell everybody.
Right, wait a minute, got to reset. Smile.
Yes. I should have saved the tape when they came to our shop. There was two guys, and they barely spoke English, and they were like, we're wanting to buy vape shops, and
they wanted to buy your shop.
Oh yeah.
Wow. What did they offer?
Not enough.
Was it like over $100,000?
No, it was less than that.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, that's a no deal.
Get out, Haji. Get out.
I mean, I didn't even entertain it. Plus, I mean, we got employees and everything, but it was just like they were trying to figure out how to spend this money, and it was very suspicious. But I didn't tie in all this other USAID stuff until today.
Well, you should have said, "I'll sell you one of my employees for $10,000." But I'm not going to sell you the store. I'll give you Noah for $15,000.
As long as I don't have to pay taxes on it, maybe. No,
yeah, 15 grand, you pay the taxes.
Isn't it?
What?
I think it's selling employees.
Yeah, probably.
But I'd be willing to guess these people got to start like probably $500,000 kind of thing, maybe $250,000 something.
Yeah.
So they went around with their $250,000 to little vape shops and said, "Hey, I'll give you $25K or $50K," and they try to buy up a few of them that's their new gas station kind of thing.
Well, again, you'd have been told you're a conspiracy theorist if you were to bring up something like that.
Yep.
I just thought they moved here and just had a bunch of money and didn't know what to do with it at the time.
Well, they moved here and had a bunch of money.
Yeah,
they just didn't happen to bring it with them. They got it when they got here. And they probably, you got to wonder, like, is that something that they were offered before they even came here in the first place? Hey, come to America, even come across the border illegally, apply for X, Y, and Z, because we know USAID money, the Red Cross, and other organization, Catholic NGOs, were in other countries, not just south of the border, but in countries all across the world, telling people, if you can get to the U.S., you will get all these things.
Yep.
You will be taken care of.
Promise them the world.
Here's the resources you need for your journey to get from here to the southern border. This is where you go. The Red Cross was handing out maps to migrant caravans with instructions on what to do and where to go.
Yeah, not to mention the TV ads in South America that were telling people to come on up and things like that. It got that deep.
Mm-hmm. And then the Orange Man came in and everybody turned around.
That's the only thing I feel sorry for these people is because they were told they would be taken care of. So I feel real bad for them in that aspect.
Yeah, you've got good people within the mix. You've obviously got your criminals and your pedos and your murderers and all that, which is just going to be within any society that empties out their prisons like Venezuela.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of innocent people, families in particular, that came across because they were told to and told that, hey, there's a better life up here. The government is giving you all that you need. And if you're from a shithole country, that would, for most people, be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of course that's what I want to do.
Well, I do feel for those people. I really do. But from the beginning, I've thought, all these homeless. And people always use the excuse, well, they want to be out there. No, hell no, they don't. Their families out there.
Yeah.
From the past 4 years that are either living in a car or are living on the street. I mean, it's time for us to turn our resources inward as we get these folks out.
America first, baby.
Thank you.
Let me do this before we get out of here. This is something I didn't get to, but since we're talking about conspiracy stuff. So there is a guy that is now a co-conspirator in the P. Diddy case. Right? And the guy happens to be involved in law enforcement. This law enforcement individual that is now a co-conspirator in the P. Diddy case just happened to be the former Las Vegas officer who led the Route 91, the country music festival from the Las Vegas shooting. He led the investigation. But after that, he was after he left Las Vegas, after that whole thing, and we never got any answers, he became the fire chief in Maui. Right before Maui burned to the ground.
What?
And now...
Oh, my God.
And now he's a co-conspirator in the P. Diddy case.
I think that's a bad dude.
Because let's start from the beginning. So
I think that guy's in the club.
So the Las Vegas shooting, Stephen Paddock at the Mandalay Bay shot down on a bunch of innocent, concert goers, killed countless people from a hotel room. Unalived people from a hotel room. And by the time he got to, I don't even remember the details. We may have to do a YouTube video at some point and revisit this. was able to stand up there and shoot from that window for a long time with no sort of intervening, nobody coming up there to stop him. And apparent, law enforcement's like, we can't figure out where it is, even though the bullets had like tracers on them and stuff, and you could see where they were coming. Anyway, they finally get up there and the dude's blowing his brains out. And there's guns everywhere and the suitcases and all this. And here we are. How long ago was that? Was that 2017 that happened? If it was 2017 or 2018, that would have been 8 or 9 years ago, or I guess 7 or 8 years ago, and we never got any answers. No motive, no reason for him doing that. No, 2017, nothing. We got no answers from that. And then the brother comes out and he says, "This doesn't make any sense. We need some answers like that. My brother wouldn't have done that." And didn't they end up arresting his brother on like Alche Ornpay charges?
Like I think I do remember. Yeah.
He apparently he had some old, you're talking about Windows 95, like some old Windows 95 computer that happened to have kiddie pornography on it. And they arrested him and threw him in jail after he started questioning like what really happened with this investigation.
Now they've been known to plant stuff on people's shit.
That's the
I'm
first
just
thing
saying.
I thought about.
And then, so after that, we get no answers on that front. After a lot of people die, one of the worst mass shootings you've ever seen in this country. This guy goes to Hawaii. You go from Las Vegas to Hawaii. And then this bizarre situation of Maui burns to the ground, kills countless people again. Just death and destruction following this guy. And then all of a sudden, his name's John Pelletier. Then all of a sudden, he's now somehow involved with P. Diddy. Go down and let's see. Let's see again. Go back up. I think we went too far. Again, tragedy would find Pelletier as he was the head of law enforcement during the Maui fire. All right, go down. Then calls for administrative leave or in conjunction, blah, blah, blah. A lawsuit was originally filed October 2024 by Ashley Parham, along with an anonymous man and woman on March 7th. That complaint was amended to include Chief Pelletier, as well as many other notable figures, including former NFL star Odell Beckham Jr., singer Jacqueline Wright, Keith Lux, a.k.a. Big Homie CC, among others. It says the allegations regarding Pelletier stem from 2018 when he was hired to provide security for Sean Combs, P. Diddy. According to the complaint, one of the co-defendants, Shane Pierce, invited the plaintiff, Ashley Parham, to his house on March 23rd, 2018, following an altercation that he intervened at a bar a month prior. Combs showed up to the residence with an entourage and ultimately threatened to give Parham a Glasgow smile for disparaging remarks she made about Combs' alleged involvement in rapper Tupac Shakur's murder. A Glasgow smile refers to cuts made from the corners of the mouth through the cheek and back towards one's ear, similar to Heath Ledger's Joker in The Dark Knight.
Yikes.
Following the remarks, Combs and several other co-defendants brutally raped the plaintiff. According to the complaint, Parham was able to escape after slashing Combs with a knife in the abdomen and ran outside screaming for police as she was as gunshots rang out in her direction. Parham fled to a neighbor's house and told them she was raped by Combs. The neighbor informed her that they had already called the police. A man dressed as a Contra Costa sheriff showed up at the home. However, Parham claims that it was actually John Pelletier dressed as a law enforcement officer. As Parham told him that she was violently, by Combs and others. He told her that the police had received several noise complaints and that she needed to find a way to get home. He did not offer her a ride home, nor did he call any emergency services. There was no attempt to help her retrieve any of her personal belongings either. So according to the complaint, Pelletier handed the neighbor what appeared to be an envelope that Parham believed was full of cash. The neighbor went inside his home and then quickly returned empty-handed. Huh.
Man.
Interesting.
And he's impersonating an officer. I mean, just...
Boy, he's been through a lot, hasn't he? He goes from...
Poor fella.
He goes from Las Vegas to Maui, and now he's about to be sharing a cell with Diddy and...
It's almost like he's in a club.
Yeah.
I know it.
That's why,
He's
man.
just
If they
wrong
would,
place, wrong time.
Yeah, coincidence.
if they would just bust this stuff wide open, we could be able to connect all the dots.
Oh my gosh!
And find out all these people that are tied into it. Odell Beckham Jr. though, that's interesting that he's involved in it one way or another.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Alleged, yeah.
Yeah, though, and he's he's not a co-defendant or a he's not somebody that just happens to be in the paperwork and they need to question him. A co-conspirator is like pretty bad. Yeah. Like, well, that means you were in on it.
I mean, I'm familiar with Odell Beckham Jr. and I don't like him when he was a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
He never paid attention to the routes he was running. He would run his own routes, which means that he thought he was above them. So see, he's out there running wild. He's running routes on chicks and things that he shouldn't be doing. And now it's coming to you, buddy.
He went from running routes to running trains.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never liked that skunk thing in your hair anyway.
I got to say, if you're a supreme athlete like that, you should have no problem. Like, why do they even have to?
Yeah, you should be able to get laid pretty easily.
Screw loose.
Assuming, now it doesn't say that he was involved with the ape ray.
Yeah.
Or did it?
I don't know. I don't know. I just think that people in those status and that much money, why even mess with anything?
Yeah, don't be around an ape ray.
No.
Even if you're not an ape ray, don't be around ape rays. Am I even using my pig Latin right?
It's close. Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
You remember that one time we tried to teach you pig Latin?
And you remember that time I nailed it?
No.
I did that. We did a little video short.
Oh, did we?
Yes, we did, and I nailed it. Matter of fact, P-Roll was here. I know P. Diddy, but I call him P-Roll.
Well, tell me, doing pig Latin,
no, wait,
say,
that's a long time ago.
I love ramen noodles.
Okay. You can't do anything about that.
Okay, go ahead.
Of lay, almond ray, oodles nag.
Look at you.
right.
Look at you. Good job.
Good job.
All right, we got to get out of here. Tony Gump, you got some final words?
Final words. I might get in trouble for talking about the vape thing, but if you just happen to call your local senator or representative and say no to HB 8 and SB 132 in Alabama, that would be nice. We're kind of fighting for our lives here, and it's starting to get kind of scary. Other than that, stay positive. Let's keep this Doge thing going. We got to save the country. That's more important than anything, and we'll just keep rolling that way.
John Bird.
Yes. Fight old age any way you can. Now, I don't mean necessarily getting, the Botox and stuff like that. Take care of yourself, work hard, and use this little cream that I got that you take and you put underneath your eyes. Zoom in, look at this. Oh, my gosh. 10 years are gone. You use it before you go to bed, and then when you wake up, you do little dots, and then you wipe it in. So I'm looking forward to the years melting away.
Are you going to tell people what it's called, or are you just going to call it a cream?
I found it in the bottom of one of my pull-out drawers. I've had it for a couple of years, so I will find out and let everybody know.
You might want to let the audience know.
Yeah.
What if it's like Ben Gay or something?
Yeah.
Preparation H.
Yeah, you've been putting hemorrhoid cream.
How long? You guys weren't expecting that.
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay? No, it's not been gay. I mean, it is, eye cream stuff. But
brown eye cream? Is that what you're...
No, God.
You sure it's not for hemorrhoids? I feel like I've heard people
I've heard Preparation H can be used for around the eyes.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I'm going to bring it. No, it's not Preparation H. I use that for my honey hole.
Okay.
Everybody knows you use that for your honey hole.
All right.
But anyway, you have ruined here at the end. I was trying to be so positive. You know what? Sunshine. Sunshine on my shoulder makes me happy.
That was great.
Sunshine almost always makes me cry. Let me tell you what. Don't look into the sun, but be with the sun. Embrace the sun. I laid out today for the first time in about 34 years. And you know what? I loved it. Tony, you're right.
It's the best disinfectant.
Tony would always tell me, and I would just go, yeah, whatever. No, just like the monkeys, I'm a believer. So make sure you get out there and you get your sun. It's very, very important. They don't get sunburned. For God's sake, don't do that. Don't do like Andrew, who's always going for the bronze. Ooh, look at me, look at it. You want to absorb the sun. It's positive. It's positive energy.
Okay, that's enough. Thank you.
If you,
you're good. You're good. We're gonna.
I love my son, by the way. His name's Mason. Hey, Mason.
Until next time, see you, cuz.